Dead Me, and we're going to be reacting to Stephen King's It, The Kill Count. We're going to be doing the 2017 film. I'll do 2017, I'll do 2017 Part 2, and then I'll do the original 1991. I see that he has actually all the It films right here, so we're going to go ahead and dive into this thing. Of course, if you like this type of content, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Now, I got to think about what was my favorite kill in It Chapter 1. I would probably go with I really like Patrick I think his name is Patrick Hockstetter. I think his death was pretty cool. It's probably going to be Georgie's death. Georgie, I think, is the obvious pick. Georgie's death was probably the most memorable in the entire It Chapter 1. And not only that one, I mean, obviously, it's probably even my favorite one in the original It. I mean, Georgie's death is so iconic. So I'd probably go with Georgie's death being my favorite. And for my least favorite kill in the movie, I'm probably going to go with, it's not really fair for me to go with her death. I was going to say, the girl, the shoe they find in the sewers, that girl, that you don't get to see her death, you just kind of hear about it. There's that death. I might go ahead and I would probably say my least favorite death is... That's tough. That really is tough. You know what? We're going to dive into it. We're going to dive in. I'll see what he has to say. So, 3, 2, 1. Now. Here we go. Come on, James.
Welcome to The Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at the 2017 adaptation of It, based on the Stephen King novel previously made into a miniseries in 1990.
Seen it at least 7 times.
This isn't a remake of that miniseries, which you can watch me cover in a previous Kill Count here. Instead, this is a different adaptation of the same source material, King's massive 1,100-page tome, which I still haven't read yet. This new telling takes place in the late 1980s, giving it a sort of R-rated Stranger Things feel. The basic story is the same as ever. A bunch of kids in the small town of Derry, Maine are haunted by an evil entity who most frequently takes the form of Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Whereas Tim Curry performed the role in the miniseries as a twisted but mostly human-seeming clown.
Yep. This one goes to the monster,
Bill Skarsgård's take on the character is completely new and helped make this movie one of the highest-grossing R-rated films of all time. Skarsgård, who should maybe be called Skaresgård after this, plays Pennywise as a totally alien being who happens to be wearing a clown costume and has a damn fun time doing it. The cast of mostly unknown kids is also impressive as hell, as is the cinematography, the music, and just how damn funny the movie is. People are pretty divided when it comes to opinions on how scary it is, but I'm not here to rate terror, I'm here to count kills, so let's get to them.
I found the movie quite creepy.
The movie begins on a rainy day in Derry, Maine. It's 1988 and Bill Denborough is too sick to go outside with his little brother Georgie, so the best he can do is wax up a paper boat for him and wish him luck on his voyage. Oh boy, that's a cute kid. Move over, Andy Barkley, you've got some competition here. Georgie casts off and it's a real rollicking good time until he thwacks his dome on a friggin' roadside.
Cutest kid in the film I've ever seen is probably Gage Creed from the original Pet Sematary. That kid was so goddamn adorable. Really heartbreaking.
He runs into your average run-of-the-mill sewer clown. The clown asks Georgie if he wants all sorts of fun circus stuff, but Georgie says he can't talk to strangers.
Oh, well, I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown. Pennywise, meet Georgie. Georgie, meet Pennywise. Now we aren't strangers.
Who knew nabbing a kid was as simple as making a formal introduction? But anyone who's anyone knows Pennywise isn't trying to nab kids, he's trying to snack on them. So after he offers Georgie his boat back and the cute kid goes to grab at it, Pennywise sinks his teeth in. He bites off Georgie's arm, which fans of the miniseries had only heard about. But here we straight up see it.
Yeah, you see his arm
tries
gone.
To crawl away before being dragged back down into the sewer for the film's infamous opening kill. Then it's 8 months later, and
it's hard to watch.
Meet our cast of kids. We briefly check in with Mike Hanlon as he hesitates to kill a sheep on his granddad's abattoir. Here's an animal kill warning, because granddad trying to make a living, and he ain't got time for being wishy-washy on the bolt gun. He tells Mike there are 2 types of people in this world, the people with the bolt guns and the sheep who get got. Which one you gonna be, Mike? It's the last day of school, and Bill and his fellow Goyim, Eddie Kasprak and Richie Tozier,
Predator and the Prey,
Stan Uris about what his upcoming bar mitzvah means exactly. Richie, the jokester of the group, has a very late-night stand-up understanding of the process.
Yeah, and I think the rabbi's gonna pull down your pants. Turn to the crowd and say, "Where's the meat?"
Sure, Richie's probably tiresome to be around all the time, but at least these boys have friends, unlike Beverly Marsh, who gets bullied and called a slut by some mean girls in the bathroom. Then they dump a bunch of bathroom trash water on her head and call the school unit. Happy summer vacay. On her way out, Bev runs into another friendless loser, the new kid in school, portly Ben Hanscom. He shows off an expert-level display of clumsiness with a great physical comedy bit. The two of them bond over Ben's music, New Kids on the Block, and she becomes the first and only kid to sign his yearbook, kicking off a real serious crush. Aw, Ben's so cute. Bill and his bros make plans for the summer, Bill pushing hard for them to hang out at the Barrens, as they watch the mom of a missing girl, Betty Ripson, wait in vain
Betty
to
Ripson,
see if
that's
the
her
kid
name,
will come out of the school.
As if Betty Ripson's been hiding at home after for the last few weeks.
Before they're even able to leave the school grounds, they get harassed by Joe Dirt Jr., Henry Bowers. Bill stutters out an attack.
Never seen Joe Dirt.
Bowers.
And Henry gets all up in his face,
suck,
threatening
Bowers.
that his free pass due to the Georgie thing is over. The bullying only ends when Henry gets a stern look from his dad, police officer Butch Bowers. I bet they have a real nice father-son relationship. I'm just kidding. Literally no one in this story has a healthy relationship with their parents. Case in point, when Bill gets home, his dad's all pissed at him for recreating the dairy sewer system with hamster tubes in an attempt to figure out where Georgie might be. Bill's test says the Barrens. Papa Denborough is less optimistic about his younger son.
He's gone. He's dead.
And he rips down the map of Derry instead of being real proud of Bill for that kind of ingenuity. Get that kid in some civil engineering
Seriously,
classes.
yeah, that
Bill
was
and Richie
impressive.
stop by Eddie's house to gear up for their sewer
Fucking
fun
all
times.
all
On
these
the way
parents,
out,
man,
Eddie's mom
suck.
bangs them and tells Eddie to be mindful of his allergies. She even makes him give her a kiss goodbye. Aw, Mom.
Do you want one for me too, Mrs. K?
Good one, Richie. But let's take a break from your class clown stuff and get back to some scary clown stuff. As Mike is delivering his
Hell
dead
yeah.
lamb packages, he has a vision at the back door of the butcher shop.
Oh,
His
this scene
hands
got
try to
me.
escape from behind it as fire and smoke billow out. That vision ends when the door flies open to reveal a prime cut of Pennywise dangling in the back there. We only get some spooky light up eyes before this vision ends, and Mike has to deal with the more everyday scary stuff that is racism.
Get the fuck out of my town!
At the synagogue, Stan is practicing for his puberty
God,
party
the kid
when
who
his
played
dad
Henry
gives him
Bowers
grief
did a
for
good
not being
job,
better
though.
at speaking Hebrew. He goes to put his Torah away, shielding himself from the creepy painting in the office, but then while his back is turned, it falls on the ground. When he hangs it back up, the lady in the picture is gone, and she emerges from the shadows looking like Kikia, that Flash animation screamer from like 2002. She gives him a sharp, toothy grin, and he's like, no thanks, do not want. Meanwhile, Ben is hanging out in the library,
Oh,
writing a
dude,
poem for
there's so
Beverly
many good
about
moments.
January Embers, a great indie band name if you ever learn how to play an instrument, kid. I'm thinking keyboard. He's also continuing
Think
some
keyboard.
personal research into Derry's history. And today's topic
Shouldn't
is
you
an
be out
Easter egg
playing?
hunt explosion that left a head in a tree. But that image is only the beginning of Ben Hanscom's spooky time. He follows a red balloon to the back of the
I
library.
love this
where
movie.
he finds
You have
a
no
trail of
idea.
smoking Easter eggs.
You
These
might.
lead him to the library archives, an inherently creepy place, and made worse when a smoking headless body comes down the steps and charges at him in a jerky way. There's been a lot of criticism of the jerky CG style some of these scares use, and I think that's fair since it's used over and over in the movie. But they don't really bother me too much, even
No.
when Pennywise shows up and does the same thing. Ben gets out of there just in time to run headlong into some bullies. Joe Dirt and his motley crew take Ben to an exit of a Friday the 13th the game map, and the whole gang's here for the party. You've got punk rock Draco Malfoy, Pyro Kylo Ren, and Belch. Yep, he's still belching around. Although sadly, that's the only belch in this movie. Ben tries to signal for help from a car driving by.
It is,
but they
isn't
just
it? I
try to
didn't
look
realize
out.
that.
Sorry, I think it was the two-seater anyway. Henry threatens to carve his name into Ben's stomach, and unlike in the miniseries, he actually starts to do it. Ben kicks him and drops backwards down the hill.
Fuck
and
yeah,
after
man.
Henry hops the
I
fence
would've-
to follow Ben
dude,
into
I
his
would've
hot rod
damn
Bill
near
temple, he
fucking
loses his
put
knife,
that
which
kid in a
apparently
coma
belongs
for
to his
cutting
dad.
me.
He sends Belch and
I'm
Patrick
sorry.
to go after Ben, while
But
he and
god
Dick
damn,
look
to
for his
cut
way.
me?
As Ben runs for his life, Bill
To
and the
cut a
others
guy?
are considering going into a sewer pipe. It's another scene that's great at capturing how young teenage boys really act with their friends, with Richie continuing to be a little shit to the hypochondriac Eddie, who's worried about how unsanitary
water.
this adventure is.
Have you ever heard of a staph infection?
Also,
Staph infection.
Bill finds a shoe in the water. Where's the foot? And a name inside confirms that it's Betty Ripson's. That steals Bill, who says we need to go deeper, arguing that if he were Betty, he'd want to be found. But Eddie and Stan both express some trepidation.
It's summer. We're supposed to be having fun. This isn't fun.
Before this council can come to a decision, Ben wades his way into the discussion and they pause everything to help him out. Patrick's still looking for Ben when he decides to go into another sewer entrance. The sewer systems really have
One
these
of my-
little openings all over
when
the
I was
place.
in the
He
theaters
creeps
and I watched
deeper and
this
deeper,
scene
lighting
got
his way
me.
with his makeshift flamethrower until he runs into a bunch of dead zombie kids that call after him by name. He tries to escape but runs
I think
into
one of them
steel
was
bars,
Betty
and
Ripson,
with
yeah.
his back against them, a balloon
Looked like
floats
it.
up to him. When it pops, it reveals Pennywise, who CG jerks his way towards the camera to kill Patrick Hockstetter. And just so you know, Patrick isn't in the 1990 miniseries, except maybe
No.
as one of the unnamed greasers during the rock.
Was in the
kids
book,
head
though.
to the pharmacy to get some medical supplies for Ben, and Beverly is also there in the midst of transitioning to adulthood. They run into each other, and when Bill mentions they don't have enough money for the stuff they need, Bev does them a solid by flirting with the pharmacist to distract him for a while. Dude is grossly receptive to it.
Well, how about that?
Dude, he
You look
creeps.
just like Lois Lane.
Oh, the disgusting gambit pays off. And the
Pretty-
kids are able
he
to
does a
stock
good job
up
of
the
acting,
supplies
though.
they
Like,
need to
seriously,
stitch
that
up
was
Ben
pretty
in the
damn good.
alleyway. Bill is
Creepy.
standing lookout
Like
when Bev walks up
100%.
to him in slow motion. Ooh, he liked Bev. She goes to check out the back alley operation, and after a cute New Kids on the Block reference to Ben, Bill invites her to hang out with them at the quarry the next day, which sounds good to her. A rock quarry may not sound like much fun, but it's gotta be better than Bev's home
this
life,
guy.
where her creepy fucking dad, Alvin Marsh, smells and fondles her hair after seeing what she's purchased.
Tell me you're still my little girl.
Yes, Daddy.
In response to her dad's gross-ass overtures, she cuts off all her hair in the bathroom. Probably shouldn't be putting that much hair down the drain, but you know what, Bev? Never mind. That's a problem for asshole Al to deal with now. You rock
I agree.
that Bob girl. It's quarry time, which means watching a bunch of kids hawk loogies in their underwear. Bev arrives and joins them, then shows them all up by being the first to take a running leap into the water below.
What the fuck?
Gotta say, all these kids braver than me, because I don't know if I'd do that jump now or then. They have fun
Hell
time,
no.
splash around, get creeped out by a turtle brushing by their legs, and awkwardly stare at Bev while she's lying out in the sun. Then Richie gets nosy and finds Ben's macabre newspaper clippings, including one on the Black Spot, a nightclub for black people burned down by a racist cult in 1962. Ben explains how in Derry, people disappear and die 6 times the national average.
And that's just grown-ups. Kids are worse. Way worse.
He invites them back to his house, and after a quick little cleanup with a Chris Farley-esque finish, he shows them his freaking home.
Yeah, it was,
where
wasn't
he's
it?
cataloged disturbing occurrences in Derry, stretching back all the way to its founding.
Derry started as a beaver trapping camp.
Still is, am I right, boys?
In maybe the funniest moment of this hilarious movie, Bev also finds a New Kids on the Block poster behind Ben's door, but he pleads with his eyes for her to keep it secret, and she's a nice gal, so she does. Ben points out that a lot of the town's tragedies are connected to the old well house, but he's not sure where the well house is anymore. I'll give you a spoiler, that shit's on Nebolt Street, as Eddie is about to find out.
Oh, dude, the fucking...
The abandoned house on the corner there. It freaks him out so much that he drops all his pills, but luckily there's a friendly leper there to help him pick back up. The leper is played by phenomenal creature actor Javier Botet, who was in Wreck and Mama, and who you'll shortly be able to see as Slender Man. He chases Eddie around the yard until he's replaced by Pennywise, the tourism director for Nebolt House.
If you lived here, you'd be home by now.
He disappears with a bunch of balloon pops, and Eddie crawls away, his underwear surely 1 shit ton heavier. When she gets home, Bev finds a postcard has been slipped into her backpack, with Ben's poem on the back, although she doesn't know who it's from yet. Looks like she's into it though. Then her sink starts talking at her and telling her there's a bunch of kids down there. Sounds like a crazy conspiracy to me, but Bev sticks a tape measure down there to see just how deep it goes. Pretty goddamn deep. Where's the bend in that sink? When she pulls the tape measure back out, it's got blood and hair on it, and the hair starts attacking her, wrapping around her limbs and head.
To be honest, I think the original It was scarier when it came to that scene.
What is this, a Sam Raimi flick? When Al comes in and asks about all the yelling, he doesn't see the blood at all. Let's keep these haunted house scares coming with Bill, who's chilling in Georgie's old room with a Lego turtle when he sees a raincoat-clad figure running around in his house. He follows it to the basement where Georgie emerges from the corner to apologize for losing Bill's boat. Yo, kid, it was a friggin' piece of paper. Don't worry about it. Georgie and Bill
Lost your
come
life.
with him and
That's even more sad.
Namely, that he'll float too.
You'll float too. You'll float too.
Oh, fuck, that's not Georgie. That's Pennywise and his famous Georgie hand puppet. So lifelike. One jerky CG charge later, and Bill nopes the fuck out of there.
I think
Pennywise
some of the
behind
jerky
slither away
CGI
in the
runs
trees.
don't work too well,
Bev has
but
the boys over, and as
I
Richie
still
stands
like
watch
it.
outside, she shows them her bloody bathroom. They can see the blood, proving that she's not Crazy Town Banana Pants, and with a montage set to the Cure, they help her clean it all up. Ben's still carrying a torch for Bev, but it looks like she's more into Bill, even assuming it was him who wrote the poem. But when she brings it up, he doesn't know what she's talking about.
January Embers?
I don't really know much poetry.
The other kids begin to finally share their terrifying clown visions with each other, although Richie, the only one who hasn't had first-hand experience, remains in disbelief.
Wait, can only virgins see this stuff? Is that why I'm not seeing this shit?
They hear shouting and see Mike's bike.
You see,
on the side
I
of the road
like
next to
Richie
Mike's
a
car.
lot,
Sure
but
enough,
sometimes
Billy's
it was
got Mike on the
almost
ground and they're trying to make him
overdone.
eat raw meat. And if that weren't bad enough, Mike also sees Pennywise waving to him from the bushes. Hiya, Mikey. Before Bowers can smash Mike's head in, he gets hit in the head with a rock thrown by Bev. An all-out fucking rock war breaks out, complete with metal music and some slow-motion belch yelling. And goddamn, can kids seriously take this many rocks to the head and not wind up with
Yeah,
a brain
seriously?
bleeding? Man, kids can bounce back from anything. The losers end up
You would have
winning the
been
skirmish and leave Henry behind in
probably
bloody heat.
knocked
As part of
out
their
the first
victory
rock
parade, they
that
induct
size
Mike
hitting
into
your
the
head.
gang.
Welcome to the Losers Club!
As they hang out together and look at a poster of a new missing kid, they start to develop a thesis on Derry. Every 27 years, some bad event happens in town, like the Easter explosion, the Black Spot fire, and the recent rash of missing kids. The visions they're seeing are the things they fear most, like a diseased leper for Eddie or the woman in the painting for Stan.
She hot?
No, Richie. She's not hot.
Mike reveals his vision, the charred hands behind the burning door, comes from a real-life experience. His parents were burned alive inside a building during a case of arson, and he was there to see it. And when asked what he's afraid of, Richie admits that it's clowns. I've got some bad news for you, kid. They go to Bill's garage and project a map of Derry and its sewer system on the wall, and notice that every location with a tragic history behind it is connected by the sewers, which all meet up at the well house. And that well house?
It's in the house on Nebolt Street.
AKA Nebolt House. Eddie freaks out and tries to abort this whole thing.
This is summer. We're kids.
He tears down the map, but then the projector takes on a life of its own, and we get a series of spooky images. First, a reminder of Bill's dead little bro, and an image of his mom turning into Pennywise, and then best of all, a giant-ass fucking Pennywise
yeah.
coming out of that screen. Dear God, that is one big-ass clown. They end the nightmare by opening the garage door, and Bill immediately wants to go to Nebolt Street to find Georgie. The others aren't as eager.
Yeah, it's summer. We should be outside.
If you say it's summer one more fucking time.
Bill goes there anyway, and the others all follow, because friendship is a hell of a drug. Bill delivers a stutterless speech about forgotten kids and how people can't just keep forgetting.
Yeah, he didn't
them.
stutter
The gang
once.
resolves to go inside, except Stan raises the point that maybe they should have a lookout.
Who wants to stay out here?
And that's where we'll end part 1. This is a 2.5-hour long
Pretty
movie.
sad,
I don't
yeah,
wanna
when
leave a bunch of stuff out. So
the
you'll get
only
thrilling
girl
conclusions,
decides not to put her
including
hand
the numbers,
up.
tomorrow
Good on
when I
her. She
release
wasn't
part 2.
scared.
Until then, I'm James A. Janice, and this has been like half a kill count. Thanks a lot for watching my kill count for 2017, the first part. One thing, a couple of my...
We're going to go ahead and dive into parts 2 of 2. So 3, 2, 1. Now. We're just going to go ahead and finish it up.
Welcome back to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're continuing our coverage of the 2017 adaptation of Stephen King's It, directed by Andy
Just about to go into the Neil
Blunt.
Blunt.
First half of the movie
Neil
in part
Blunt
1
house.
of this Kill Count, which you can watch here if you haven't seen it yet. Otherwise, let's get back to those kills.
Okay.
When we last left off, the kids were about to head inside Neibolt House after learning it was the center to so many of Derry's historical tragedies. After an off-screen straw drawing, Bill, Richie, and Eddie are the ones who wind up going inside. Richie finds and freaks out over a missing kids poster with his
That was
face
a good,
and name on it.
his
Bill
reaction
tells him to
was
ignore it
really
because
good.
It's not real. They hear a little girl's voice and go upstairs to follow it, and at the end of the hallway up there, they see Betty rip some, and oh, nope, there she goes. As Bill and Richie go to help her, Eddie is distracted by a noise he hears, so they wind up getting separated after a door closes between them. A hole opens up in the floor in front of Eddie, and his old friend Def Leppard appears, scaring him back
Def
to the ground
Leppard.
floor below. Richie then hears Eddie's voice coming from another
Dude, his
room,
fucking
so he
arm.
heads inside to check it out. But once again, a door closes and separates the kids from one another. The lights in the room flicker and reveal its contents, a whole bunch of clowns. Richie's all like, "Get out of here, you bunch of
point
clowns."
at the Tim Curry
Oh,
clown?
look, OG Pennywise is chilling in the back there. That's a fun little Easter egg that's not charred and smoking. At the end of the room is a coffin, and inside is a pretty well-made Richie puppet thing. Then Pennywise pops out and plays us a golden oldie that we haven't heard in a while.
Beep, beep, Richie.
He charges at Richie in a CG but thankfully not jerky manner, but Bill's able to get the door open and rescue him. Then a visage of Eddie pops up through a mattress to Bill and Richie and vomits up some acid spit, which flows towards them and chases them into a room with a fucked up version
Fucking
of Let's Make a Deal.
awesome.
They opt for the safest choice, but it's still got half of
This
Betty
whole-
Ripsum hanging out in there. That's some false advertising, door. And by the way, I wasn't sure whether or not to include Betty on the count, but decided against it since these are just visions of her, even though she's definitely dead. I don't know, man. Things are even worse for Eddie.
I guess
downstairs.
technically
His
she's
arm
still a
is broken
kill,
as
though.
fuck.
Technically,
Some
but
Pennywise
I get it.
leftovers come out of the fridge and
Love that
anyone
moment.
know how long that clown's been in there? Is it still good or can we toss it? Pennywise makes a big show as he approaches Eddie.
Bill
Not only is that
Skarsgård,
fun
dude,
for
one of
Bill
my
Skarsgård,
favorite
but it
moments of
also
him,
serves
right
a more
here.
to the plot. You see, the bigger the fear, the more flavor inside.
Tasty, tasty, beautiful fear.
So Pennywise gets Eddie nice and marinated before digging in. But before Penny can say clown apati, Bill convinces Richie that none of this is real and they're able to overcome their fears and get to where Eddie is. Seems like the not real argument might not work here though.
This isn't real enough for you, Billy. I'm not real enough for you. It wasn't real enough for Georgie.
Oh, low blow, clown.
Fucking
Dick move
dude,
deserves a
that
freaking
moment,
pride
I
tag.
smiled in
Beverly
theater. I was
Marsh.
like,
The other
that's a
kids come to the rescue
badass
as
line.
Pennywise bleeds out from his wound. He lashes out at them like a wounded animal, but they stand together to oppose him, even as Ben gets sliced open by some clown claws. Knowing when to cut his losses, Pennywise bows out in retreat, but Bill follows him all the way down to the basement and watches as he escapes down the well. After Richie performs some ill-advised bone resetting, the kids GTFO of Neibolt House. Eddie's mom picks him up and yells at the others for getting him hurt. She drives off, leaving only 6 losers behind, and when Bill wants to start preparing for next time, Stan
Lucky
counts himself
7.
out as well, saying he's had enough of this shit. A split happens, with Beverly, the only one taking Bill's side, and Richie bringing things to a boil by saying that Bill needs to face facts because Georgie's freaking dead. That turns into a face punch and the dissolution of the friend group, even though Bev argues that it's vital they remain a team.
We were all together when we heard it. That's why we're still alive.
Richie doesn't buy it and leaves in a huff, and even Ben would prefer to skip all the heroism and live to get out of Derry. Finally, Mike says he's just an outsider and should stay that way, and the losers officially disband. A montage shows the passage of time, as all good montages do, with the kids growing up in their own individual ways.
Yeah.
Then it's August, and we're back again with the Bowers gang. When Henry wants to shoot a cat that looks way too much like Lucy for me, his dad...
Oh, I'm
finds him
so
and
happy the
thankfully
dad
stops
walked
him
in
and
right there.
shoots the ground in front of him to show the audience exactly how to raise a little psychopath of their own. Later, when Henry is stewing, a balloon appears on his mailbox, and inside
And
is
yeah,
the
that was
knife
a
he
very
lost back when he was
dipshit
practicing
thing to do of the
his penmanship on
dad,
Ben's
to
stomach.
shoot the
He
gun
takes the knife
at him.
inside where Butch Bowers is passed out in his dad chair. The TV provides Henry some instructions on what to do next.
Make it a wonderful day. Kill him.
And since TV was probably a better father than Butch ever was, Henry listens to it. Butch wakes up to a blade in the neck and struggles in confusion as his psychopathic son holds him down, killing him for a very memorable, very dark moment in this movie, and the third kill on our count. Then Pennywise
Fucking
goes on the
good.
telly to encourage Henry to keep it up. Eddie also has a scene of self-growth, although his is decidedly less murdery. When he goes to pick up his medicine from the pharmacist, the pervy dude's daughter, the same bully who orchestrated the trash waterfall on Bev's head in the beginning, picks on him for not having any signatures on his cast. Then she tells him his medicine is just a vial full of lies.
They're placebos.
What does placebo mean?
Placebo means bullshit.
She offers to sign his cast, but it doesn't look like she's writing anything nice on it. When Bev tries to leave her house, she
Loser.
finds the front door locked and her dad in maximum creeper mode.
You're looking prettied up.
He calls her over and insinuates things about her because of her all-male friend squad and the postcard poem he found in her underwear drawer. Then things get pretty bad.
Are you still my girl?
No!
And Al winds up on top of his daughter in a terrifying act of sexual abuse. Luckily, Bev fights back, kicking him in the crotch and running away from him to hide in the bathroom. He follows
Fucking
and kicks
guy.
the door open, but Bev responds with a toilet tank lid to the head that knocks him the fuck out. Great job, Bev. Things would be going great for you if it weren't for that Pennywise grabbing you by the neck. When Bev's late to meeting Bill,
Oh, yeah,
he goes to
dude,
the
that
house and
made
finds
me
her dad
jump so
knocked out on
much.
the bathroom floor. But he's very pointedly still breathing and making alive noises, so again, no go on the
Nope,
count. Bill also
he's not
finds a
dead.
message written in blood. You die if you try. Bill's on a mission now. And
Wish he
it's time
did
to see
die. Wish
Nightmare
I did
fly.
kill him,
Good
but
thing,
nope,
'cause
not lucky
Dream
enough.
Time blows. Instead, it's to recruit the losers to help him save Bev, starting with Richie.
Love the
who's
Dream
still
Warriors
pissed off
poster.
at him over that face punch.
See that guy I'm hitting? Pretending it's you.
When he tells Richie that it got Bev, Richie puts his street fighting on hold. They call up Eddie, who's altered his cast graffiti to be a little more complimentary, but on his way out, his mom tries to stop him based on his delicate constitution.
They're gazebos.
He finally fights back against his overbearing mother
You know what these are? They're gazebos. They're bullshit.
and flees from her and his house to go help his friends.
He's my
The other
favorite loser,
losers
by
are
the way.
recruited
Eddie.
off-screen, and
He was my
together,
favorite
the
character.
Six boys bike their way to Nebolt Street. Mike armed with his granddad's bolt gun, because sometimes he likes to roleplay as Anton Chigurh. As they arm themselves with fence rods, they don't notice Belcher's car on the street, watching and waiting for them to go inside. Now, there's a deleted scene from the theatrical release
Where the
that's
boys,
pretty
yeah.
gosh darn relevant to our interest here on the kill count, since it shows that Henry killed Vic and Belch, and I struggled immensely over whether or not to include it. I settled on leaving it out because I don't want to set a precedent for including extraneous materials like deleted scenes if they're not included in a fully completed version of the film. And by the way, this scene and others will be integrated in a director's cut promised to us later this year, but the studio didn't include it on this initial Blu-ray release.
Did they
because
release
it
a
wants
director's
people to buy
cut?
the movie twice, which is total fucking bullshit. They head into the house, although Stan needs a little extra coaxing, and go downstairs to find the broken well. They throw a rope down it and begin to descend, finding a tunnel a little ways down. But after everyone except for Mike is safely down, Henry shows up and attacks him. Henry shows his crazy bloody face to the others down below.
Mike, where's he?
Then turns around to finish the job. He pins Mike down and puts the bolt gun to his head. But Mike ain't no sheep bower, so at the last minute, he fights back and avoids the bolt. Close one. Granddad would be proud. Mike hits Henry with a rock to get him off,
Then
frickin'
shoves his
Goldberg
ass
spears him
down
into the
there,
well.
yeah.
Henry falls down past the others, and here's another complication, because the movie leaves newcomers thinking Henry is dead. But I think he'll be back, because it would be a drastic change from the source
Yep.
material to not have him in part 2. So another missed count opportunity.
Didn't
All
die,
Beth
so-
wakes up in a big old trash room full of a bunch of dead kids floating in the air.
Count 'em.
Finally gives meaning to the whole "you'll float too" thing, although I'll note that this is a movie invention and doesn't come from the book. Then Bev gets treated to a show. It's everyone's favorite meme, Pennywise the dancing clown. Pennywise is a clown. Pennywise is a clown. Look at him dance like a look at him go, like a look at him dance like a clown. He jumps out to greet his audience, but finds the reception lacking.
I'm not afraid of you.
Oof, that fruit ain't ripe yet, Penny. Better put it in storage with your dead lights.
He looked
Until it's
very
time to
offended
taste
by
it
that.
with fear. Dead lights, they're like the crisper drawer in your fridge. Stan somehow gets separated from the others when he thinks he hears Bev, and as he stumbles around by himself, he's greeted with spooky
yeah.
CGI face running at the camera. When the others come
That's
to
a
find him,
video
they see the
game
painting
jump scare
lady
right
chowing
there.
down on little Ursus Minor, but at the sight of them together, painting lady backs away from them and disappears down a pipe, popping back out just to be like, hey, you guys know this is actually Pennywise, right? Yeah, they know, clown. The other kids get Stan up and running, although he's understandably in hysterics and not too pleased with having been left alone. While they tend to him,
That's
Bill sees Georgie running
why
around the
he killed
sewer and
himself.
follows him through the
'Cause he was
tunnels to the
afraid
big
of
old
being
trash
left
heap
alone
room.
again,
He
and he
finds
was too
Beverly
scared.
floating in the air, her eyes glazed over. Instead of helping
Made
her down
sense
right
to
away,
me.
though, he continues his Georgie hunt. So it's up to the other kids to help her down when they come into the big sewer chamber. After checking out all those helium-filled dead kids, of course. And no, the floating dead kid crew isn't going on the count either, because there's just too many of them to count and they keep floating around. It's hard to get a number on them. I know this kill count isn't that exciting if you're just here to see numbers get tallied, but hopefully you're watching for more than just that. They drag Bev down to ground level, and Ben does the only thing he can think of, delivering true love's kiss, question mark? It totally works, meaning Ben should be called Life Lips for the rest of his days, and Bev finally recognizes that game.
January embers.
My heart burns there too.
Before Ben can capitalize and get a non-catatonic smooch, though, Richie hugs them both, and Mike jumps in too, because hey, might as well
Fuck
be a
it.
group thing in the
Hug.
sewer now. Wink. Bill finds a one-armed
We're all
Georgie
alive.
who he has a
Oh,
tearful
this
conversation
scene.
with about paper boats and shit. Georgie asks Bill to take him
Dude,
home, and
that
Bill says,
kid
yeah, that'd be
does
great,
not get enough
except there's
credit.
just one little problem.
But you're not Georgie.
Dude, for a second there, I thought maybe it was Georgie, somehow having survived in the sewer this whole time, and that it'd be a real fucked up twist with Bill actually killing him. But no, that little
I think that was a perfect moment.
Obviously. Pennywise
really,
sits up, and I hope
his moment of realization, he knew deep down.
Bill puts the bolt gun at Pennywise's head, and even though Mike yells to him that it's not loaded, Bill pulls the trigger, and it apparently hurts Pennywise, because the power of imagination, yo. The fight breaks out entirely now.
It was the idea that he wasn't afraid of him. That's why it hurt him.
And definitely having the upper hand. He eventually gets Bill in a hold and makes an offer to the others. Leave him alone to nom down on Bill, and they can all live long, happy lives, never having to look over their shoulder to see if a clown is running at them in jerky CG. Bill co-signs the agreement out of guilt for leading everyone down there, and it looks like Richie might too, since he gives a speech.
But now I gotta kill this fucking clown.
And lists all the shit he's had to do because of him.
And now, I'm gonna have to kill this fucking clown.
Yeah, that's right. These losers stand together. The fight continues with a lot more showmanship.
You know, I never thought about that. You know, he could have probably have snapped his neck when he was right there and had him in that hole.
By some spider crab claws in a reference to the miniseries, and a mummy with bandages attacking Ben in a reference to the book. He saves the real terror for last, Bev's rapey fucking father, but that only encourages her to put a rod through his mouth. Eat it, clown. That's pretty much it for Mr. P. Wise, who crawls away from them in defeat until his back's against another
now
drain
you're gonna
Bill
starve.
recognizes that the clown is scared because now he's gonna starve, and Pennywise backflips into the pipe. Before he drops out of sight entirely, his head begins to disintegrate, and he offers one final parting word.
Fear.
Down he goes. See you in 2019, Bill. The day is saved, and the kid corpses all float down. Bill finds Georgie's raincoat, and the others all group hug him, because that's what you do when you're the best of friends. Later in the year, Bev tells them about a dream she had where she saw them all, much older, back in the sewer. That prompts Bill to start a blood pact.
If it isn't dead, if it ever comes back, we'll come back too.
They all agree to it and get their hands sliced open to make it count. It's a real nice moment, and another scene that shows how this isn't just a good horror movie, it's a really well-made movie overall. Eventually, the losers filter out one by one, each returning home on their own, until it's just Bill and Bev talking about how Bev's about to leave town to go live with her aunt. When she goes to leave, Bill realizes this is his last chance to act on his feelings, and he gives her a goodbye kiss. Good read, Bill. She like it. She like it a lot. And that's it. Chapter
that was it.
Motherfuckers. Hell of a movie. Did it have a hell of a body count? Spoiler alert, no it did not.
No, the kill count wasn't that big. When you look back on it, no. Georgie's death is the best death in the movie, though, I gotta say. That's awesome, James, right there. That was cool.
By my count, only 3 people died in 2017, a new kill count low. All 3 victims were male, so maybe I should have found a way to work Betty Ripsom in to add a little variety here. At a runtime of 135 minutes, that comes out to a kill on average, get this, every 45 minutes.
I like all the kills, though.
Chainsaw for coolest kill to Georgie. It's the horror
I
movie
agree.
kill we've always heard about.
Rockstetter's death is probably the least coolest, but it was still good.
All machete for lamest kill will go to Patrick Hockstetter. Love the scene leading up to it, but ultimately it's just more Pennywise running at the camera. And that's it. It was released in 2017.
The music, the way it was shot, really got under your skin. It was really cool.
Movie ever. It was hugely popular, then faced some backlash, as can be expected. But I
still
think it's an amazing film that's funny as hell. On Monday, I've got the best kills in Friday the 13th for you, and next Friday, we're going to start on A Nightmare on Elm Street. But until then, I'm James and Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Thank you for watching part 2 of my Kill Count.
Thank you, James. Okay, so I liked it. I liked it a lot. I mean, I love It 2017. I love It 2017. Actually, I think it's the best horror film to come out that year. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that and say Get Out was the best horror film of that year. But to me, nah, dude, It 2017 was just... I get the overrated. I do think people were hyping it up more than they should have. I think, you know, it was definitely a great adaptation. And, I consider it, in some regards, a remake. I know it's not a remake, but I do consider it in some regards, because that's how much respect I have for the original 1990 miniseries. And I love the original 1990 miniseries, but this was a really good film adaptation. And I gotta say, yeah, I would say Georgie's death is obviously the most memorable, most hardest to watch. It really does set the tone of the movie perfectly. And Patrick Hockstetter's death was as good as it was probably the least effective in the film. I think Henry's killing his father was very powerful. It was a good moment of him just losing it. It was just, he's had enough, and that's when he snapped and became a murderer. So that was a good moment. I liked that one a lot. It was Pennywise definitely driving him into madness, and it didn't help that his father was a dick too. So like, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. I like that quite a bit, actually. Guys, comment down below, what was your favorite kill? What was your least favorite kill of the movie? There's only 3, so you pick. But until next time, movie friends, keep it retro, and I'll check you guys in the next video. Take care.